Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show. Here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. We've been having some technical difficulties. This might cut off at around the 6-minute mark. But having said that, let's just get right into it. Now, getting into this next part, there's going to come some words that you may find different than what we normally know. And one word is called Pelagon. Pelagon is considered a king, a great king of wisdom in this book. And now I happen to come across a book that I'm very interested in, uncovering the history of the Khazarian barbarians and how they took on a religion, Judaism, in 740 AD. Part of the reason why we have the problems going on the planet, because they want to control all trade routes. And trade routes, if you look on it, on the map as it is today, the X marks the spot, and that's where present-day Palestine is. So all the trade routes of before in Khazaria land, in the Silk Road, north of the Caspian and Black Sea, this was their old land. And look where the Ukraine-Russian war is. It's a 1,000-year-old of revenge on a Russian king that conquered the last vestiges of the Khazar kingdom. Having said that, just take a look at this book. So the history of the Jewish Khazars. Okay, this is a 1954 book. If you can get it on Amazon, it's only going to cost you $495, and that's used. Okay, and on page 12 of this book, it reads. So this is page 12 of this book. The emergence of the Khazars is, if you just read a typical story of the first group, is given by Yaqubi in his history. After the confusion of tongues at Babel, the descendants of Noah came to Peleg, son of Eber, and asked him to divide the earth among them. He appointed to the descendants of Japhet, China, Hind, Sind, the country of the Turks, and that of the Khazars, as well as Tibet, the country of the Volga, Bulgars, Dalen, and the country neighboring on Khorasan. Okay, there's so much to read in this book and to figure out who this group was and their historical references from both Hebrew, Persian, and Russian sources. So having said that, we're going to get on with creation story. But remember, descendants of Noah, Peleg. Okay? And just to let you know, when you need an answer fulfilled, after I came across the name in this book, I wanted to know more. And then when I came into this book, because I wanted to know the true history of the Khazar Jews, and look what I came across as I was looking into this book quickly, the answer to a question I had from this book. And that's how God works in mysterious ways. The answer will fall off the shelf onto you. Having said that, part 18, let's see how far we can go. We represent the light bearers. We come with the wayshore. We are the ones sent from the stars on wings of silver and the essence of angels' wings. We are the reality of your perfect spirits, if you could but see it coming now. Sent forth now by God to consciously walk in your human fields. It is time for you to awaken and make transition into radiance again, into the light of Creator, to rest in peace, love, and truth. Uninformed. Do not be dismayed or discouraged when the uninformed criticize and accuse you of all manner of heinous things. It has ever been thus. It is the very character of the uninformed to continuously criticize and accuse. They usually remain in ignorance, for they fear ridicule if they make pronouncements and then find their pronouncements to be false. The uninformed continuously search for connections which they cannot understand. When Emmanuel, 2,000 years ago in your counting, set down the knowledge and the wisdom, he could do this only with words of certain meaning, then just as now. When in the present I speak about the same matters, I must use certain words, which translate into certain meanings, now as then. Mankind is still too caught up in religions to recognize and accept any other truth, for they have forgotten that religions are set up by man, teachings are set up by God, and the purest direct course to spirit, if it be his truth presented. They still live in the belief that truth, knowledge, and belief would be religion, and that one could designate this or that doctrine to govern the religion of choice. They do not understand that a religion, as you practice indoctrination within certain sects, can suppress a being and make him depend on something that stands above him and gives him orders and advice. The result is a creature no more master of himself, but subjecting himself to something that remains powerfully above him and separate from him. Thus, there does not exist many forms of religions as designated by labels that can be considered perfect and all good. You see, when we presented the writings and notes of Judas Iscariot, we only brought forth that which was already written and now translated into language you might understand. Since the story deviates in some manner from that which was chosen for enclosing in Earth's books by the German scholars choosing Gospels of Izu, many denounce truth in favor of tradition and hearsay. It is fine, for man does not yet understand the fullness of truth, of origin, nor of creation. And maybe that will be my next book. His name is Manuel. His name shall be called Emmanuel. I'll get into that one in the next. So we'll be done this one and 2 more. So 50 years passed. This part and the next part probably. 50 years passed. It is strange that man wishes to contradict that which he has no basis for judging. How can man know, for instance, that some 50,000 years ago in Earth chronology, our home world found peace and liberty? Shortly before this time, 70,000 or so human beings fled under the leadership of one Pelagon, labeled Pelagon. They used spacecraft and they fled through the cosmos and settled on Earth. Under Pelagon were 200 sub-leaders, scientists competent in their special fields of knowledge. By these and others, Pelagon was acknowledged as what you might call the king of wisdom, and he was at that time regarded as God, and regarded as such, for he taught the word and laws of God and the creation. Going to be finishing up soon. We'll get on with the rest in the next part. Wondrous things were brought forth upon earth. Regrettably, this lasted well for only a narrow span of some 10,000 years, until